Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ideal Bike YouTube channel. Have you ever wondered which can be the ideal adventure motorcycle? Everybody wants the adventure motorcycle to be small, light, cheap, big tank range, fuel efficient, have a low and comfortable seat, capable off-road, and to have a pillion seat. The Honda CT125 Hunter Cub seems to have it all, but stay with us until the end of the video to speak more in detail about it. I am a big fan of small motorcycles and mopeds. I used to have a 4-stroke, 50cc, Chinese one, and I was quite happy with it, for more than 22,000 kilometers. Traveling almost for free, thousands of kilometers, even long distances, enjoying the landscape and not worrying about much anything. In 2019, at Tokyo Motor Show, Honda showcased the CT125 concept, also called the Hunter Cub. The Hunter Cub name is being used on the Japanese market version, which was due to make its official first appearance at the now-cancelled Osaka Motorcycle Show, but the bikes sold in Europe and America might yet go under the name Honda Trail 125, harking back to the old Trail 50 and Trail 110 models sold in years gone by. Honda's Trail models were adored by riders all over the world for decades, and they still hold their value today. The Hunter Cub is an adventure version of the well-known Honda Super Cub 125. Or we can call it the new, Go Anywhere, CT125 Hunter Cub. The two Cubs share the same chassis, with a few modifications to give the CT a more scrambler-inspired, off-road capable look and feel. While the Super Cub has a clean silhouette, with all the cables, wires, and inners hidden away under a sleek semi-fairing, the Hunter Cub looks more rugged without the cover, exposing the frame, the engine, and all the wiring. The Hunter also receives a set of wire spoke wheels, crash bars, and a little luggage rack to complete the look. It has a slightly longer footprint with its 49.4-inch wheelbase and a bigger fuel tank capacity at 1.4 gallon, versus the Super Cub's 1.0 gallon. The CT weighs in at 264 pounds, that's 120 kilograms, versus 109 kilograms for the Super Cub. The exhaust is rerouted and ends on a high-set muffler, equipped with a protective shield. The Hunter Cub also receives a skid plate to protect the engine. At the front, the CT uses a fork with 4.3 inches of travel, versus 3.5 inches on the Super Cub, and support at the back is provided by a pair of exposed shocks. As for the brakes, while the Super Cub features a disc brake at the front and a quirky drum brake at the back, the Hunter Cub gets disc brakes on both wheels. Paired with ABS, the CT125's real power plant is the same as the standard Cub, a 124.9cc, air-cooled, SOHC, single-cylinder engine with a 52.4mm bore and 57.9mm stroke. According to the Honda Japan media site, the Hunter Cub is rated at 8.7 horsepower, 6.5 kilowatts, and 8.1 pound-foot of torque, 11 Newton-meters. The tiny engine is mated to a 4-speed semi-automatic gearbox. The new Honda CT125 Hunter Cub will be offered in two colors, glowing red and matte fresco brown. The frame is from the C125 Super Cub, but gets a reinforced steering head section for more off-road strength and an extended rear section to add to its carrying capacity. Twirler suspension gives 165mm of ground clearance, up from 125mm, that is 40mm higher versus the Super Cub. Based on the Super Cub C125, the rear frame is extended to accommodate large rear carriers. In addition, the adoption of a front fork with a top bridge and the accompanying reinforcement, as well as a pivot plate that enhances security and optimizes rigidity in various driving situations. Disc brakes are used on the front and rear wheels to provide high braking power, even when luggage is loaded or in tandem. In addition, one-channel ABS, which operates only at the front, is equipped to provide a sense of security when braking. The Super Cub had a disc up front and a drum in the rear. The CT125 engine and drivetrain is identical to the Super Cub engine that uses an automatic centrifugal clutch that does not require clutch operation by hand, just click through the gears and go. By adopting an air-cooled 4-stroke 125cc engine with powerful output characteristics at low and medium speeds, and a unique intake and exhaust system, the engine feel is comfortable, and the direct feeling of throttle operation is improved. The engine is also equipped with an undergird that reduces damage caused by stepping stones, which has increased the sense of security in trekking on rough roads. In addition, PGMFI, which provides ideal fuel supply by electronic control, is adopted, and fuel efficiency is also improved. In order to enjoy driving in nature, a high-mount intake duct is adopted to reduce the inhalation of dust. Along with the side air cleaner, Honda pursued a style unique to CT. Honda used an upswept muffler reminiscent of the former CT. The exhaust pipe and muffler are equipped with extra shielding too. The CT125 uses LEDs for all lighting. The iconic round headlights give the front view even more presence and a throwback to the prior CT models. Compact liquid crystal type gauges with condensed functions gives a light impression around on the handlebars. This bike is quite fuel efficient, with a declared fuel consumption of 1.6 liters at 100 kilometers, around 190 miles per gallon. Considering the 5.3 liters from the petrol tank, you can have over 330 kilometers autonomy range, around 221 miles. Weight comes in at 120 kilograms, which is 11 kilograms more than the C125 Super Cub that shares the same basic engine. Power is down a fraction on the Super Cub, dropping from 9.5 horsepower at 7,500 RPM to 8.7 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, but torque rises from 7.7 pound-foot at 5,000 RPM to 8.1 pound-foot at a lower 4,500 RPM. Those fractional changes are largely down to the different air intake, which includes a high-mounted intake duct to keep it clear of dust and water, and the CT125 similarly high exhaust system. The final drive ratio is altered compared to the C125 with a 39-tooth rear sprocket, instead of the Super Cub's 36-tooth design, reducing the bike's top speed, but emphasizing torque and acceleration. As on the C125, the gearbox itself is a 4-speed clutchless design, and despite modern niceties, like fuel injection, the engine still has a kickstart rather than those newfangled electric starters. Perfect for the case when your battery lets you down and you need to escape from the zombies. Up front, a twin-piston caliper and single disc take care of business under the protection of a single-channel ABS feature that leaves you with the option of using maneuvers that involve locking up the rear wheel. Because of its adventuresome nature, you can operate the Hunter Cub from a standing position, though it will not allow for a fully standing position, and forces the pilot to stoop just a skosh. The stock bike comes with a solo seat that rides at 31.5 inches off the ground, ahead of a built-in luggage rack that sports multiple holes and slots, along with a quartet of cargo hooks, to give you plenty of places to anchor your cargo. This bike also will have as accessory a pillion seat and pillion rest foot pegs. Another departure from the Super Cub is found in the anchors. The factory drops the rear drum brake in favor of a single-part caliper and disc to improve control under the increased potential cargo load. Laced rims mount dual-surface hoops in an 80x90, 17-inch size on both the front and rear. A 27-degree angle at the steering head works with a short 3.14-inch trail to deliver a balance between stability and agility, with a manageable turn radius of 6.2 feet, 1.9 meters. Plenty of accessories are already released for the Hunter Cub. This includes center carrier, anodized pieces, crash bar, rear suspension, skid plate, handlebar brace, hand guards, LED fog lamp kit, rear fender guard. Moriaki and Takigawa already have exhaust systems out for the CT125 too. How cool is that? One thing needed to be mentioned here: from the Hunter Cub, we do not have the high-low reduction gear from the original CT110 that made that bike so amazing as a backcountry machine. Nevertheless, as mentioned before, we just have to stay with the modified final drive ratios. According to sources, the CT125 is rumored to be available outside of Japan too, as there have been a number of patents filed in both Europe and the US. Honda already launched, on the 2nd of June, the bike in Thailand at the price of $2,600. As the CT125 is being made in Thailand, Thailand is the first country to get the new CT125 now. The price for the US and Europe it is announced to be between $3,500 and $4,000. It costs more than the Super Cub C125, PCX 150, Monkey 125, and the CRF 125F Dirtbike as well. The only 125cc model more expensive than the CT125 in Honda's lineup in Japan is the CB125R. That said, the hefty price tag does get you one of the most unique motorcycles on sale at the moment. So what's left to do for us? It's just to wait for the opportunity to test a bike ourselves and decide if we are willing to spend our money on it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.